Hi, today we're with Family Affairs contributor, Dr. Dan Gottlieb. Dan has a grandson who was diagnosed with autism at the age, I believe, of 14 months. And I know from speaking with you and reading your book that your grandson Sam has taught you so much in life. And I thought it would be so beneficial to our community, to the people watching this video, to hear about your experiences and to tell about what it was that Sam taught you.
You know, as I think about it, well, certainly my first book was Letters to Sam, and it was mostly a love story. My third book was Wisdom of Sam, and that was more focused on what I learned from him. So it begins. He had to be about a year old or 18 months when my dad died. Now, before that, he was fussy. He didn't want to, he was scared of the chair. He wouldn't sit on my lap, understandably.
Right. You mean he was afraid of your wheelchair?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So there we were at my dad's funeral, and it was a graveside funeral in January. And I'm sitting there, Debbie, Sam's mom, was sitting on the other side of the grave, and they're watching me, and I am sitting there crying. Sam was really fussy with his mother that day and was reaching out to me. She put him on my lap for the first time. He put his head on my chest and started to suck his thumb and let me cradle him.
Wow.
He reached out to me, seeing my tears, and I thought, this is an unbelievable child. Fast forward this, when I'm writing Wisdom of Sam 5 years later, and I said to him, as he was, on the autism spectrum, I said, Sam, what does it mean to you to have autism? And he couldn't answer the question. And I said, honey, do you feel different from the other kids? And without hesitation, he said, yes, I do, Pop. And I said, how so? And he thought about it. He thought about it, thought about it. And then he looked me in the eye and he said, I'm more kind than the other kids. And he is. And life is about kindness. We complain about the country we live in. We complain about the world we live in. We need to be more kind. We need to be more kind to each other, to strangers, to ourselves. Kindness changes the world. And that's what I do now for a living, for a life that's become the meaning of my life, is I teach kindness. That's all I do. Wherever I go, I teach kindness.
As you were telling the story about Sam, I could only think was how amazing that he didn't relate his difference to his disability. Mm-hmm. To having autism. Mm-hmm. It was about himself, his soul, that he was kind.
It's always been about his soul with that child. It's always been about his soul.
And don't you feel that the outside world, I'm going to say, when people have disabilities, that's what they're focusing on because that's what it is that's making them uncomfortable? So if somebody's looking at Sam, they would look at him as a child and think, oh, that boy is autistic, and that's what they're seeing. Mm-hmm. Because it's different from how we are or how it makes us feel.
How we like to think we are.
Right.
We can't be critical of those who discriminate. We can't be critical of prejudice. And not just because we all have it, but it's in our primordial brain. that when we were in caves, something that looked different, we had to keep at arm's length. We had to be cautious. I mean, that could be friends, or we could be their lunch.
Right, it could be survival.
Right. So that's our first reaction. Different color skin, different behavior, no leg, different wheelchair, different. Our first reaction is caution. What happens after that is about our reactivity, it's about our ignorance, it's about our anxiety. What happens after that is everything. Kindness.
Amazing. What a wonderful lesson that Sam was able to teach you and that you now teach to the world.
Kindness.
Thank you.
Thank you.